Now I can think of getting to CRM. In this case, it's my internal URL, which I'll start first. Okay. Seems like CRM is moving ahead and it has redirected the request to the STS. Okay. And sts.nama.com is prompting for credentials. Okay. Ideally, this shouldn't happen. But I know why it's happening. Okay. So this looks normal, but that it was redirected to ADFS, came back to CRM. That up to that point it looks normal, but when it came back to CRM, not good. Let's figure out what's going on. Launching Fiddler, and we'll perform the same action again, closing down the IE and relaunching it. Let me minimize a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I have Fiddler open, and let me browse the internal URL. Yeet. Let me get rid of this. Simple. No difference. I was thinking it is just adding the website to trusted or local intranet zone will make the difference, but it doesn't look like that. Let me look at this closely in Fiddler. Okay. Alright. It's all encrypted. Let me set Fiddler to decrypted. Okay. Now Fiddler should capture much more than what it was doing before. Okay, so I browsed my internal URL int.nama.com, redirected to STS. Expected STS is giving a 401, 401 and 200 because it's doing an integrated authentication. Expected behavior. After that, CRM is giving 401 error message, 200 tunnel, just SSL handshake and channel setup. Again 401, 401, and what I get in user interface is a prompt like this. Typical authentication prompt. Oops. Okay, so spinning circle has done its job. If you look at Fiddler, there are a couple of 401s, so I got the same authentication prompt a couple of times, like total 3 times, and then I got a 401 error message. That's the end in Fiddler. UI says null reference exception. Where do I go from here? Go to ADFS, say it's not giving the claims. How do I figure that out? Let's check that real quick. If it's ADFS giving the claims nicely, okay, for that what I would do is go to ADFS console, the relying party trust for internal URL, and go to properties. Here I want to remove this encryption certificate. That is what is going to give me the SAML token unencrypted. Okay, but remove is disabled. How it gets enabled is by removing this checkbox which says monitor relying party trust. By monitoring the relying party trust, ADFS is getting the encryption certificate. Now I removed the monitor. Now I get the remove button. Removed, apply. I'll redo the request flow. Okay, prompt, fine. Let me ensure I type it right. It is right. Okay, STS validated. It's a 200 authentication. Then it gives a 400. Now let me see when it completes. Okay, so I reproduce the same request flow after disabling SAML token encryption in ADFS and got the same behavior. Now here is the thing. When you browse the internal URL and the request right after the STS authentication successful will be posting the SAML token to CRM server. It says, okay, I generated the SAML token, gave it back to client, and client, the IE browser, is supposed to give the token back to CRM. And in Fiddler, we can see that token, content or claims inside that token pretty well if it is not encrypted. For that, what I do is I go to the request right after SAML STS authentication. I go to Web Forms under Inspectors tab. Okay. Then there is W result field. Copy the content, dump it in Notepad. Not that great, but we know what are we looking for. First thing is here. Yes, currently logged on user is administrator. So UPN is coming up fine. Administrator at crm5allinone.com. Said I'm not going to verify it now, but you can verify it if you want to. And name claim. So CRM relying party trust is configured to provide 3 claims. Primary said, name, and UPN. All 3 seems to be coming up fine. So ADFS is doing its job. We can't blame ADFS here. What to do?